ready. Have you ever stayed in a hotel? Imagine checking into one, but instead of being in the city, you're floating 400 kilometers above Earth, watching the whole planet spin slowly below your window. That's not science fiction anymore. It's happening right now. What is the ISS and why is it retiring? For the past 25 years, humans have lived and worked on the International Space Station, or ISS. It's a giant research laboratory the size of a football field, floating in orbit around Earth. Since 1998, astronauts from more than 20 countries have lived there, conducting experiments on everything from how planets grow in space to how the human body changes without gravity. But the ISS is getting old. After decades in space, its parts are wearing out. NASA plans to bring it down from orbit and let it fall into the ocean in 2031. That might sound dramatic, but don't worry. It's planned very carefully. So the question became, what comes next? Private companies are building the answer. Instead of building a new government space station, NASA decided to do something different. It gave money to private companies and said, you build it. Think of it like a city deciding to stop ruining its own buses and instead paying private bus companies to do the job. NASA is essentially becoming a customer of space stations rather than the owner. Several companies are racing to build the next generation of space stations. Vast Space, California, building Haven 1, the world's first fully commercial space station planned to launch in 2027. Axiom Space, building the Axiom Station, designed to look like a boutique hotel, launching in 2028. Voyager Space, building Starlab, also launching around 2029. Blue Origin, founded by Jeff Bezos, building Orbital Reef, with its first modules planned for 2027 and full operations by 2030. What will Haven 1 actually look like? Haven 1 will be roughly the size of a city bus, much smaller than the ISS, but that's just the beginning. It can host up to 4 people at a time, staying for about 14 to 30 days. Visitors will arrive on a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft, which docks to Haven 1 and stays attached throughout the trip, like an escape pod always ready at the door. A former NASA astronaut named Drew Thustel, who spent 226 days in space across 3 missions, now helps design Haven 1 and train its future passengers. He even helped design the sleeping system, an inflatable air bladder that gently pushes against your body to mimic the feeling of lying in a bed under gravity. In space, without gravity, your body just floats, so sleeping is surprisingly tricky. He also helped decide how big the window should be. His answer? As big as possible, because everyone on board will want to photograph Earth below. Who gets to go? And how much does it cost? Here's the honest answer. Right now, only very wealthy people can afford it. Similar trips to space have cost tens of millions of dollars. That's more than most people earn in their lifetime. But here's the hopeful part. When the first commercial airlines started flying in 1920s, only the ultra-rich could afford a ticket. Today, hundreds of millions of people fly every year. Many experts believe the same thing will happen with space travel. As more companies compete, prices will come down over time. NASA also plans to use these private stations for science research, and not just other countries' space agencies could rent time on them too. That means more nations, not just the US and Russia, could eventually have access to space laboratories. Why does any of this matter? Living and working in space teaches us things that we can't learn on Earth. In microgravity, scientists can grow purer crystals for medicines, study how diseases behave differently, and test materials that are impossible to make under gravity's pull. And beyond science, these stations are a stepping stone. Jeff Bezos has said he dreams of millions of people living and working in space one day. Elon Musk is focused on Mars. Whether or not those visions come true, Haven 1 is the first small step towards a future where space isn't just for governments and professional astronauts. It's for everyone. The door to space is opening. It's just that right now. The tickets are still very expensive.